Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business of Business podcast. I'm your host, Roy. We are the podcast, of course, that brings you a wide variety of guests that talk about a diverse set of topics. We always want to try to present issues that maybe people are unaware of or present solutions that may help your business. But we also like to put people in front of you that if you have a problem keeping you up at night, they can definitely provide a solution. And today is no different. We're happy to have Rachel Chung. She is an ICF-qualified confidence and high performance coach. She is the founder of Essence by Rachel Chung. Rachel's mission is through mindset mastery, personality profiling, and personal brand image consulting with 8 years experience. She helps the online service-based female solo entrepreneurs at the startup stage to overcome procrastination, challenged by self-doubt, fear, and perfectionism, so they can kickstart and keep thriving in their business with the highest productivity and absolute confidence as their best self. To fulfill this mission, Essence by Rachel Chung is focusing on you with A to Z 100% personal touching support. Inside this community, you can learn how to build your core confidence from inside to out, with hands-on support from experts and well-structured systems. And this is a fun, interactive, and safe, respected environment for you. You will explore your potential to new reality with all-in-one and one-stop full transformation. During your joyful journey here, you will also discover the instant applying and instant long-lasting achievement as well. Essence by Rachel Chung has helped women stop doubting and start believing so they can create a long-lasting impact with their business worldwide. Confidence. Stop doubting yourself, start believing in yourself. Rachel, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you as well. It's really an honor to be here as a guest, Roy. Thank you so much.
Before we jump into this is also important, that confidence factor, because I'm just going to tell you honestly, we're challenged with that every day, no matter how long, if you've been in business for one day or for 10 years, there's always something. But before we jump into that, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you find yourself coaching and helping women?
Yeah, I think to talk about that, or maybe it's better to share my story. It's kind of hurtful, but soulful story. Yep. So maybe you're probably gonna be pick up the guess from my accent. So I'm originally from Korea, South Korea, but I'm located in Melbourne, Australia now. It's been exactly 6 years so far. So as just you share about me and then my background and my business back in Korea was personal brand image consulting and with a personal profiling. Then when I came here, and to be honest, I came here with a purpose. Yeah, so purpose, and then I was okay with a lot of hope, a lot of optimistic mind, and I come here always. Life is not exactly as we expected, right? Always a very cruel, very real, and then after it shocked me because I come here, yes, I purpose, I hope, and I always wanted to help people. And then okay, let's continue my journey because it was quite successful back in Korea. Okay, let me continue. And I launched it, and I think first year, totally, exactly first 6 months is really, really, really hard. And of course, and then my business totally failed. And it gave a lot of lesson, but that time was only hard, the scar, and then because I known for really confident, always know what I'm doing. So people, oh, Rachel knows what she's doing. Yeah, she always good. And my self-confidence was absolutely high, even myself asked me. But when I came here, and everyone reject whenever I did, I get proposal, reject, because that time I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any proper capital to keep moving forward. And then I didn't have a business or experience, work experience, no reference, nothing. Then that's why I think I was an absolute baby here. Yeah. And no one actually cared and no one actually trust me. And that's why first year was a really stumble a lot. And after that, nearly up to 2 to 3 years, and then I was stuck and then keep trying and then just back up, try. And then at some stage, actually nearly gave up, really gave up. And then because I was drained and totally burnt out, and then this is impossible to move forward. I think I can't see the any front at all. And they probably, and my mom and dad, like, oh, my mom, just come back, just come to Korea. What's the point there? And I was really in dilemma, should I? But I think that time I just like, I already tried so many, and then how about try one more time, one last time? And I think that one last time actually hold still helped me a lot. And then that was my turning point. And actually, okay, it's time to actually awake, because it was kind of the failure. It was also some part of my problem. I wasn't like focusing what I can do and then what I'm good at. And then actually yes, I care about who I'm gonna be helped, but I think more like what I can do first.
Yeah.
So okay, I really deep into the Australian culture, and then because I'm here, and then what actually can combine to actually make it work. And that time I found the okay, so what I can do, and then that time I just found the path of the life coaching. So okay, that's align my purpose. They align what people want, what people want, and then I think okay, so I'm gonna be start this one, and then the time starting from that, 2 years intensive coaching, like a training, intensive. I thought that I'm studying master degree. It was so intense. And then after that, finally, I got qualified last year. And then, okay, it's a time to start new. And I'm ready, because I always made me the whole back, and people actually want from me was actual qualifications, because they want to see it. Because when they see that they can see through me, because I know this is another country. They at first thought is I'm Asian, look young, and then they just like, can I trust her? So I think to overcome that part is a proper qualification. So since then, okay, out of the life coaching, what I'm good, who I can help. So then I think, okay, confidence it is. Yes, that's I was count people spot on. And then people after every coaching or even just a casual talking, people, I feel really motivated. I feel really confident. I think I can do that. So okay, that's confidence. Actually, people through me and I'm good at. And then I thought that confidence is not enough. So what I adding on is confidence for me was because I love everything practical and tangible, and then something out. That's why I chose personal image because it's effective and instant. So okay, how can I actually help them to not abstract way or more tangible way? Then I adding on high performance, because they can live with not only confidence, but actually they achieving. So that's through the journey and up and down. And finally, I found a path what actually I can be in. So that was my journey and who I am now.
And we talk about this a lot with helping others, is that you've been through this, and it sounded like that you had a few years there where you struggled. So who better to help the next person than somebody that's actually been there, lived through it, and the lessons that you've learned. I mean, it's tough, and don't get me wrong, it's sad you had to go through that, but on the other side is that look at all this valuable life lessons that you have learned and be able to help other people. For me, there's nothing better than being able to take those lessons and help other people maybe not have to go through that.
That's true. Yes, actually, that's a really great way to flip the angle, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because confidence, it's big, and I think that uh, I suspect from what I hear from others that it's even a little bit more difficult in women because they tend to be held back and not as respected as experts a lot, not like men. And so they stepping out on their own, there can be a definite confidence factor. Plus, they're usually responsible for the kids and everything else that happens. So just that time commitment as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think a woman is sometimes it's not stereotype, but just like a kind of physically and mentally, we can't change some part, right? We're born sometimes. So women is naturally have a more mother nature because we're gonna have a baby and then we're gonna look after. So compared to the men, I think it's kind of fact. So mother nature, we have a more higher than in that. So which means is mother nature make us, we want to willing to help more people, look after more people, which means we want to please people more. That's why I think a lot of people stuck in the people pleaser side, and that's what I've been through too. And then still I'm working on that part. And that's why I think such the perspective and such the kind of our instinct make us actually put others first than us, which means we are more likely, if you're going to the a bit negative side, we're going to keep comparing ourselves to others, which is kicking our low self-confidence, low self-esteem, because we're gonna doubting ourselves, limiting belief, and it all comes once. So that's why I think it's really important starting from aware of we are actually facing that part. And then starting from there, we can just work in our confidence. Because a lot of people, nah, I'm not. But it is not. So I think is we accept the fact is a fact. And then from that, we can just identify how can we actually overcome that part to be more confident.
A couple of points that you made there, comparing ourselves to others. It's hard not to do that for anybody, but we just have to stay in our own lane and we have to run our own race. And that's gotten a lot more, I've gotten where I use that a lot more because I think it's, we have to have like the blinders on, because social media can present so much information that we don't even know if it's true or not, but we see this person that achieved this or has this, unless we know them we know them personally and we know that happened. But we see so much false information, and then it makes us feel bad about ourselves because it's like, well, why can't I achieve that? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? Where if we focus on our own lane. And then the other thing that you said, I think about that was the nurturing part, about tending to take on too much. And it's hard, but we all have to learn to say no to things that don't further our goals. And that's not selfish.
No, because that's actually a good point too. Even including myself, I thought that like caring myself and saying no, actually I thought they're very selfish. But I was self-care selfish, like people, and even including myself. But I think as you get a really good point, because we are not born, yes, we are born to be not perfect. We are born to be our best and better. And then always our main character in our life, it should be us. Because without the main character in the movie, in drama, how can movie gonna be keep going? How the drama gonna going? And that's impossible. That's why always we put ourselves first, and people think, oh, no, I'm not that kind of person. No, that's not a negative thing. That's the first thing. Because without you, who gonna be help other people who you want to help? So that's it's kind of paradox. So always it's okay looking after yourself and more energy and then more capacity, then you can help more people. So kind of this is not negative, not minus game. This is actually plus game. So then they says, okay, then starting their awareing, and then I challenge them. And just now you are just thinking, what if? But just now just don't stuck in the future and guessing, just try first, make it present and experience, then we can discuss further. How was it? It was really bad as you expected, or actually nothing really much, or actually it was absolutely more positive.
Exactly. And the I think you also mentioned, I read in your bio in the lead in, was about perfection. And that's again something that tends to strike all of us, is we think that everything has to be perfect, and we call it analysis paralysis. Sometimes we can get so hung up thinking about how can I make this perfect, it's not perfect, that we end up not doing anything instead of just doing and learning as we go.
Exactly. I think one of my like a kind of role model, and her like whenever her slogan, her say is stop dreaming, start doing.
Yes.
And I really like that, because like even I was a dreamer, always I want to do that one. And then, oh, what if? And then always I was stuck. I was a people pleaser. That's why I care the people. I was scared of fear of judgment. Then made me perfectionism. Oh, what if other people like that? And this is like a negative cycle actually made me stuck and then just only dreaming. And as it says that, actually, when you actually put into action, real action, not many things different. And then actually, you says that actually we made a failure, but actually we learn valuable things from there. And that make us much better. So that's why I think just do, and then we just learn something and then better and then do, because that's progress. So progress is better than any perfectionism. So that's actually I want to say everyone, if you're stuck and then you just delay only learning and then just don't put action, then it's time to actually take action. Yeah,
and if we get started and we listen to feedback from others, we know which areas to grow. Because what I've done, honestly, in my past is there was an area that I was kind of iffy about and was focused on, and then once you get the product or service out there, you realize that people don't care about that. They care about this other point that you didn't even think about. So
exactly.
again, if we put it out there and we're always growing and always kind of tweaking what we're doing, we'll have a better outcome.
Exactly. I think that's a great point. And I also had the same like experience. I thought that, oh, okay, I really worry about what if people don't like it. Forget about it, just do. And suddenly I did it like that, and people actually liked it. And suddenly feedback about some people, like some part I never thought of as you did. And actually, no matter if you are gonna be exposure, if you're gonna put out there, no matter what I gain is everything is learning. Everything feedback, and the actually only thing I'm gonna get is a feedback and better improvement. So that's really good. Yes.
Yeah, and so you kind of also added, working with this confidence factor, but you also work with startups too to kind of help them overcome the procrastination, the fear. And so, what are some things that you do if somebody comes to you and they're struggling a little bit in business? What are some steps that you generally take to help them out?
I think the startup stage, I think I found all of the phase. Some people great growth stage, some people scale stage, now startup stage. I think the stage people most not confident and then always stuck most, and then really with unclarity and then less focus. I think after they start up, and then at the same time, not many actual support out there, because I ask around why other coach fellows, and they say the startup actually don't know what they want to do, and they actually so many things to hands on. So it's actually even when coach is too much. So even though they at the end they're not really gain not much the impactive, like really impactful change after coaching, because as a coach I get it, and we want to like a really transformation impact, like really really powerful transformation. But when we do startup, because there's so many things to do untangle, that's why it's hard. So that not many help and support, like especially based in Australia, not many support out there. So that's why I started that targeting for startup, because mainly my main purpose for my business was, yes, generating revenue and like a profit is important, but first comes is actually helping, because that made me happy. Anyway, so startup is I think the very first one, they are really stuck in perfectionism and they're self-doubt, and because they are scared, because they are stuck in zero. Whenever we're starting 0 to 1 is the hardest and scariest, because after we're starting something, it's happening like a momentum, so we keep doing. So like whenever we do go to the gym, and then the first day and then just put ourselves into the gym is the hardest, but when you get there, we felt good, we felt sweating and they look good, and more muscle seems popping more, and keep going, make a momentum. So between 0 to 1 is a really scary thing, even though just a one difference, but a lot stuck in there. So what I'm doing is the very first one is, we all know mindset is a important mindset, because this is a fundamental. But what I found also is everyone aware mindset is important, but when they're building or working inside a business, they think they're more focusing actually business tactics, skills, and then like a marketing side. To be honest, absolutely important to that part, but also mindset is important. So people actually, yes, it's important, but not actually working on, underestimate that time. Oh, maybe later. Oh, I know. So then that's why I think seriously about the really look into your mindset and working on, because most confidence problem comes from mindset, which is we talk about perfectionism, we talk about fear of judgment, fear of failure, we talk about self-doubt, and all this one actually first trigger point is from mindset. Yeah. So without clearing the mind block, and what I found is I did a beta test, and then I did all different mindset first, and then did something else. Yeah. And then mindset different. Then when I tested, actually, yes, it kind of the approve itself. So mindset need to first. Then people are gonna be like a digest whatever I'm talking with them and coach with them. So mindset, that's very first part I'm gonna do. And I'm not talking about everything. I'm not touching everything. I always say them focus. So out of everything, what is the biggest number one? Number one. And after that, we cleared at least that biggest mind block, and still we have energy and courage to keep moving forward. Next one. Okay. And then after that, I think is telling, because the people most likely stuck in the perfectionism. So especially woman-wise. And then I think, okay, just before I shared, we are not born to be perfect. We are born to be just a better and best side of us. So which means is that let's focus really on you, and then we're gonna find the best part of you. And to do that, I'm using my personal profiling, because through the personality profiling method, we can actually have some guidance and have a more focus on you, and then more data-wise analysis, and what's your strengths, and what made you more encouraged. And out of that, I focus on choose one most resonate with you, and I call this one signature strengths. So we're gonna have a signature strengths. So no matter what no other people are gonna say to you, or even you're gonna doubt yourself, always back to this one. Telling yourself as a mantra, you have a signature strengths in this. You can be better and best, at least with this one, no matter other people saying to you, no matter you're gonna be discouraging yourself. And then they're gonna be okay, getting slightly more confident, okay, because they're gonna already clear their biggest mind block, and they have a one clear signature strengths they can focus on. And next one is, because for my motto and for my business is, I really like a balance, which means is like yin and yang in our nature. When nature thrives more, and then when actual plant is more vibrant, when yin and yang, like a dark side, bright side, like a harmony, right? Same thing. So it can be not exact analogy, but what I'm saying is balance is for me is really important, even for confidence. So somebody mindset is actually work great, but some point, if you are not confident our external exposure to others, we have some point to shake by them, swung by them. So we just need to work both sides at the same time. So we just cleared the mind block for internal, so getting better, getting good, more confident. And I says that because as a starter stage, they're not sure how can they confidently show up as an expert, confidently shine in front of people. So at least I can then, okay, let's work in external confidence. Then I'm gonna be working on with them with the personal brand image casting, because our startup is highly likely they are brand right. to represent their business. Okay, so and then I'm gonna find based on their signature strengths, let's do analysis of what you have for you externally, and then how can we show and then shine with your signature strengths, present the best way. Then they're gonna be just internally their signature strengths, they're confident, but actually they presenting to others, and then they're gonna be actually people gonna be get that message, and they're gonna be good feedback, compliment, and then we also from their confident more. So now internal, external, both confident. So in the end, finally, what I'm doing is, if I'm gonna be lived like them, they're not doing the action. They just say, yes, oh, interesting. Yes, I feel more confident. And then they're gonna be, because now we're not finishing fully transformation, because without action, that's not transformation. So, and after that, what I help them is, okay, now it's time to plan at least 90-day plan, including launching their business and then what they can do. So utilizing all we learned. And then after that, we're gonna be actually practice with that one. And then they're gonna be actually start to action. Then they're gonna be actually higher performance in that. They're actually the feedback from that. So that's the whole journey I help my client and people need my help in terms of the startup stage. Yeah.
No, and that's great because you mentioned some things, the mindset. It's very important for our confidence because, and it also ties into the why. I think it's, as I have aged, I understand more the importance of the why we do something. It helps our mindset, I think, if we believe in what we do, and then we know that we can either help others in some manner and be successful. It helps us take those setbacks that have, the daily setbacks. It really helps us to overcome those if we have the very strong why, and then we have a very strong mindset about what we're going to do and what we need to do to be successful.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also you mentioned the clarity part that, we can get so stretched in business because, especially being a solopreneur or, a brand new startup, we may not have a lot of resources. So, we're trying to keep the books, we're trying to do client work, we're trying to do marketing, we're trying to do sales, we're trying to do all of these things, but we have to put them in order. What is the most important? We need to get our message clear and concise, work on those type of things because it's challenging, and success isn't linear. It's just not straight, start at the bottom left and go up to the top right. It's just there's this jagged line that, we have some really good days and we have some not so good days. We just have to find a way to survive the not good days and, get back to those good days.
Exactly. I think what I found is, especially at the startup stage, we are more stuck in we are facing shiny object syndrome. So because we don't have a lot of clarity, like you said, and that's let's try that one. Oh, that one working well. Seems like this one, this marketing, and that one, and that one, and that one, and just like a too much try. And that's how I say that if we know what you are good, and what you want, who you want to help, from the all personalized confidence, personalized the footstep, because we found the seeing the strengths, and then already when we know what makes us discouraged, what it worked. So whenever we make like a decision time, okay, this one doesn't suit, it doesn't align, and then this is not align my signature strengths, my brand, and I think I don't feel this is gonna make me more motivated, and that's not work, and very clear. And then on top of that, actually we know so clear who we want to help with, and then my target market gonna be there? No. So they're gonna be a resonate with you? No. So everything just comes so clear. Yeah. So I think we can focus one at a time, and then just only focus building one bridge first to move across from the where we are to the where we want to be, and then we're gonna keep building another bridge at a time.
Yeah, because we can, like you said, we can, and I've seen this in marketing with somebody places an ad on Facebook, they put $50-$60 there and run an ad for a day or two, whatever. And then it's like, that didn't work. So we're moving to, this other, we're moving to Instagram and then Google and then Twitter. And instead of, I guess, developing a plan, what is our marketing plan? We need, and we also need to be patient, again, this, starting a business, being an entrepreneur, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And so we have to realize if we do something today and we have success tomorrow, we're probably pretty lucky. But as you talked in yourself that, it can be a 6 months, a year, 2 years to see results. We have to put seeds out there and take care of those seeds to see them, harvested eventually.
Exactly. I love your analogy. Yes, we are we are farmers.
Farmers, we are. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's impossible next day, just, trees out there, sprout there, fruit there. It's impossible to see that, right?
Exactly.
So I think you got a really good point too, because I found the patience, because I actually was impatient myself. So that's why if we're not patient, we're not gonna be persistent, and we're not gonna positive, then we're gonna give up. So very good point. Patient, like a seed, put the water and get the fertilizer there, and then get the love in them, and the patient, and then personally we keep doing it, and then positive, which is fruit gonna become to pick up. That's a really important part.
Yeah, because again, I love social media, and I think it has a great part in our life and in our business. But there are negative aspects of it. Is that we see I don't know, John Smith. We see him on Instagram now, and he's very successful. And we think, wow, we didn't know this guy yesterday. Now he's successful. He's an overnight success. But we don't know that this guy has been working, 5, 10 years, toiling away at whatever his craft or product is, getting better and better every day. He just now came to the top. And so I think the drawback of this digital age is I feel like that we are all somewhat impatient. We want to put an ad out there on Google today, and then tomorrow we expect the phone or the email to be, flooded with people like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for you to put the ad up so I can buy from you. And it just typically it doesn't work that way. If it does for you, then you're very, very lucky and you need to count your blessings. But it's a grind. And this gets back to the why and mindset for me is that you're going to have to come in and grind this out every day, come in and do the basics. There's no secret tip or secret trick. It just gets back to the basics, but executing them every day.
Exactly. I think that's also a good point too. Because last time when I was learning from other marketing part and then expert, and then what he said is nowadays a lot of people tried all different kind of the marketing, try marketing, because they think other people working for other people, because we again comparing. So some people with their marketing suddenly zero to a 50K per month. So okay, I'm gonna try that one. But I think what he said is best marketing strategy is basic principle. So that's why even for a 30 days, 30 years before, 20 years before, some working the principle and basic classic things actually working now. So I think don't just jumping everything like, oh, this isn't working. Okay, they're all temporary and no guarantee. So I think what you share is really important. And other thing, one thing I like is what you said is the success, we are not here to, the success is not sprint, it's marathon. And then I think I want on top of that, for me, I always tell the people share what success means. And success is not sprint, but for me it's that paced stroll. So what I mean by that is, I think we're gonna keep sprint is compared to the win, right? And actually we get there to destination, we are drained, and then we have absolutely no energy left to even after another journey. And then we are just absolutely drained, so tired. And then to be honest, we didn't able to actually enjoy at all because only focusing run to win. But if you're gonna be actually marathon, also a set pace stroll, we actually in our pace, we are actually enjoying each journey. And then when you get there, we still 50% energy left, so we can start another success journey. So I said that's important.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, I think kind of building on what you just said, as you mentioned balance, and you said that's very important to you in your life. But I think it's important, as you said, if we have balance, we can enjoy the journey. We're not always just focused on the end goal, because what I've found is that when people are only focused on the end, when they get there, it's an empty win. It's not, they're not fulfilled because they've let everything go in between. And, you find, I think that relationships are important. We have to take time for ourselves personally. Like you talked about, you mentioned the gym earlier, and that's something that it's the first thing that goes for me when I get busy. I let that go, but I feel so much better when I have the balance of going to the gym. I get more done in my working hours than I do when I let it go.
Exactly. See, I think though, because we balance actually focusing ourselves and our pace, actually we're gonna enjoy much more. We can go further.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the really everything we mean. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Yes.
Rachel, thank you so much for being with us today. Is there any other points that you want to leave us with before we start wrapping up?
I think pretty much all good. Oh, maybe just one last thing. Because
Okay.
we just before balance is important, and
Yes.
before we just talk about yin and yang. I just as an analogy, and I want everyone to know because we also talk about patience important.
Yeah.
Yes, patience important, which means either when you have a dark side and when you're gonna bright side, not and die, when you coexist together, actually the life is better. Nature is more prospering. So your business journey, even though you are stuck in probably dark side now, but be patient because bright side is coming. And
Yeah.
when actually you face that one, you're gonna think to your dark side because you're gonna learn, you're gonna improve more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we enjoy it. It's kind of the weird thing about being an entrepreneur doing stuff is that the struggles that we have or the dark side when we're in that dark side, when we get to the light, it makes us appreciate what we have much more. And I think, that's an important part of life for me is that gratitude that even on my very worst day, I have still got so much to be thankful for. And, like my priest, he has a saying that our mind is always grinding and we can choose what it grinds. We can choose to grind positive or negative, and I think that's very powerful that if we choose to focus on the negative, we will get more negative, where if we focus on the positive, we tend to get more positive.
Yes, totally right. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
All right, well, do you have a habit or do you have a tool that you use in your daily life, either personal or professional, that you feel like adds a lot of value?
I think quite few. I mean, every morning, I think a lot of people doing their one like a morning yoga and meditation. But
Yeah.
I think out of all that, my favorite is two things. The first one is the at the end of the day, I think I just thank you diary. So everyone know like gratitude journaling, but I like thank you diary. So I like bullet journaling because I like don't take a long time. So every day, five things I just want to thank to myself, thank you to my today, and I just writing,
Yeah.
and just like really aware. Actually, today, like you said, no matter it was a harsh day, I thank this one. I'm happy. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I like one of my habit, and my hobby is like a brush calligraphy. So with the color together, because actually it kind of made me more calmer. And then I think when you do adding the color, because the color has some energy, right? I just really, because I also studied color therapy. So, okay, this color I like today and it's drawn to, okay, what I'm missing, okay, I can be just like a neutral perspective. All right, I need to do this working on more. So I think these two actually help me a lot. Yeah,
Interesting.
and help me.
Yeah, and I've never been big on meditation or journaling. I've tried journaling for years and I just, I'll do it a little bit and quit. But probably the last 6 or 8 months, I have found that the meditation, first thing in the day and then the last thing, number one, it clears your mind to start your day, but also it clears your mind where I seem to have restful sleep and not always thinking about things. So that's huge. And then the journaling has been good. I just have to I don't have to as much now, but in the beginning, I just had to make time to do it. But it's great. Writing is very cathartic for most people just to get their thoughts out. And then when we can be grateful in that, it's even better. So those are two awesome ones. Appreciate
Yeah.
you sharing with us. Okay. So tell us this, who do you like to work with? How can you help them? And then of course, how can people reach out and get a hold of you?
Okay, so who I want to work with is very first one. I like people ready to action because I'm not here to the dreamers. I'm here to very serious about the step out of their comfort zone. So that's number one. Who I want to work with because then we can actually really make the great transformation in the end. So that's number one. And then other than if you anyone like you're at the starter stage and then you are a solo entrepreneur, and then you really, really need help about your confidence, and I'm right here to help you. So I'm all the juicy strategy and for your time, the really working time actually waiting for you. So you can reach out to me. How you can reach out to me is, first is my business name, the Roy introduced before, and Essence by Rachel Chung. So you can just search me LinkedIn, as the Instagram, Facebook. I'm there. So you can just simply contact me, and then we can, starting from the point, we can just discuss further. And then I'm open to any, just if you want to just chit chat with me and then just gain clarity, I'm open to digital coffee chat. So we can have a short 30-minute coffee chat, and then we can do. And then other than that, and then just keep an eye on my website, my social media, which is my website, just rachelchung.com.au. Okay. And then there's upcoming workshops, because I'm regularly doing workshop and Facebook Live and Summit, and just so you can just be able to join whichever you would like it.
Okay. Yeah, great. And we'll be sure and put all that in the show notes and on the website so they can find you easily. But thank you so much for sharing. We certainly appreciate it. And I just can't even express enough about, this, what a coach can provide, because we have a lot of people don't realize the value, but we have these sports teams that have very talented individuals that make a lot of money. But guess what? There's always a coach. Not a lot of them have the coach of the team, but they also have personal coaches that help them stay in shape. And I think it can be good for a lot of things, getting you on the right path, but also keeping us there. Sometimes, even if we have the best laid plans, sometimes we try to veer off path. And, if we have somebody that we can believe in and that we have trust in and have that conversation, makes it much easier to keep us on the straight and narrow. So y'all reach out to Rachel, see how she can help you. And thank you again for being here. Certainly do appreciate it. That's going to do it for another episode of the Business of Business podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Roy. You can find us at on all the major podcast platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Spotify. If we're not on one that you listen to, please reach out. I'd be glad to add that one on. You can also find us at www.thebusinessofbusinesspodcast.com. We're on all the major social media platforms, probably hang out a little bit more on Instagram than most. And a video of this interview will go up when the episode goes live on our YouTube channel. So until next time, take care of yourself and take care of your business.